Hey guys, today is Vlogmas day 20 or 21, good grief. I'm actually a little sad December's over. I was kind of hoping to get to do a lot more of like Christmassy type stuff than I actually got to this year. We're just really busy. Andrew traveled and then all that stuff happened with my friends, so hopefully I can make up for it in the next couple of days. And I guess I still did get to do a lot of stuff. And we went and chopped down our Christmas tree, and I went to the Nutcracker and watched all the Christmas movies and went to a Christmas parade, that kind of thing. Oh no, I'm feeling dissatisfied today. I think it's because, of course today was when the Mayans predicted that the world was going to end. And I don't know if you guys ever have moments like this, but for some reason it made me like kind of reflective. I'll turn 30 next year, and I was kind of thinking in terms of like, of course I didn't believe the world was going to end or anything, but in terms of all of that, I was thinking a lot about like my goals and where I want to be. Sorry, Webster is barking. It's very windy here, and for some reason the wind freaks him out. Hopefully he'll behave himself, but I doubt it. But anyways, I was just thinking about how there's a lot of goals and stuff I would have liked to reach. Before I turned 30, and how sometimes you have to just let that stuff go. Like, I honestly thought by the time I was 30, I would have a couple of kids, and I didn't. Not that there's anything wrong with not having kids or choosing not to have kids, or, whatever your choice may be with that. I think, for everybody it's different, but I always thought, as like a younger person, that by the time I was 30, I would have a few kids. And now looking at it, when my kids are 10, assuming I have a kid like next year or whenever, I may not want to till I'm in my mid-30s, but I'll be in my 40s when they're in like upper elementary, middle school, and I don't know, that's just not what I guess I had planned for myself, and so that's something that I have to let go of, I guess. And then I was thinking about how I always thought I was going to be a writer. When I was younger, I always wanted to write children's books, and that's a lot easier said than done. I know I sent out some queries last year, and I got a lot of comments back saying that a lot of places are not taking new talent because they can't afford to, because of the economy. They can't afford to take a risk on an unknown person. And I don't know if that's true or if that was like a cop-out. I don't know, but I was always wanting to collaborate with like Rochelle or my friend Tina and write a children's book. My favorite children's book author is Carmen Agradidi, and I can remember seeing her in the 4th grade, and then again when I was like around my 24, 23, 24, and she still does a lot of book tours, and goes into the schools and talks to the kids and reads their book. And when I was a librarian, that was my favorite part of the job, and so I thought, writing a kid's book and being able to do that would just be so much fun and right up my alley. Webs, cut it out. Stop. Come here. You're all right. I don't know why he's so weirded out by the wind today. On our part of the East Coast, of course, we got the wind and not all the cool snow that everybody here was hoping for Christmas, but that's okay. It makes traveling and stuff safer. Say hello. I'm being a stinker today, and I won't ever look at the camera. Webster. Look. Stubborn. Anyway, I don't know if you guys ever think about that kind of stuff, like just goals and things. I really like my job. I love teaching preschool, but there are definitely times where I wish that I did something like more creative. And I don't know, like I've always wondered, I don't think I would feel any different in like a structured school environment either. I think I've mentioned before, I teach at a private school, and so it's slightly different. But I don't know, teaching in like an actual school building, especially with all this stuff going on with people shooting schools and cutting funding and all the negative things that have started to be part of education. I don't know that I would necessarily enjoy it, because all the teachers that I really loved were like pre-SOL. That's our Virginia standardized testing, or the SOLs, and pre when like standardized testing and No Child Left Behind was big, and so they were able to really like be creative and do a lot more creative type of learning activities, and not necessarily teach to like an SOL. I think the SOLs and standardized testing, while I get that they're important, I also think it's hard because, Wed, stop. Oh my gosh, I'm going to kill him. He's driving me crazy. Every time I film, it's like he knows, and so he has to act up. I don't understand it. But yeah, I think that standardized testing kind of stifles what teachers can do and the creative part that makes teaching fun and also fun for the kids. All of the teachers that I love, and even as an adult that I've worked with, the ones I think that the kids respond the best to and that I've enjoyed being around the most are the ones that are really able to like make learning more creative and more fun and not just teach, to a book or to a test. But that's just my 2 cents about education. But I was just curious to know if you guys ever feel that way, think about your goals and, where you thought you would be or where you should be. And I think for everyone, there's not really like a set, standard for where you should or could be. I know here in the South, like there's it's not as bad now as it used to be, but there definitely used to be like definitive ages that you were expected to get married and to have kids, and to have a career and to do all this stuff. And sometimes things just don't work out that way. And as I'm getting older, that's something that I'm having to kind of come to terms with. And I think my friends, a lot of us are kind of on the same page with that. Like I've got a friend that, she's very smart and she's very cute and she's a doctor and feels sometimes like she's not where she should be because she hasn't found like a relationship. And then, the same thing with Rochelle. Like Rochelle has all these talents and things to offer, and I think sometimes she beats herself up because she doesn't feel like she's where, she's supposed to be either. I think we all do that sometimes, and I don't know, for some reason, thinking about the world and it kind of made me think about that, because I was like, have I done everything, that I want to do? Like Rochelle and I've always wanted to own a bookstore, but that's easier, especially, gosh, in this economy, starting a small business is easier said than done. So I'm curious to see what 2013 kind of has in store for everybody. And then on a different note, something else I was thinking about today is I saw on the Today Show, they had the guy that plays, this is totally off topic, they had the guy that plays the Grinch from How the Grinch Stole, I don't know why I just blanked on that, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and he was on the Today Show, and his costume scared a bunch of little kids, and it just reminded me of my sister. We were little, I don't know, Rochelle doesn't like him either, but my sister like could not be around any kind of dressed up character. It really freaked her out. Let me show you what Webster's doing. He is spinning because he can't behave himself. See, this is what he does when I try to film videos. Anyway, I was just thinking about that and laughing today. I can remember one time we were watching a parade in my hometown with my mom and my sister, and Roger Rabbit came by. My mom was kind of a tacky dresser, and she wore a lot of like elaborate hats and stuff. She just kind of did her own thing, and I guess that's all right. But Roger Rabbit came and grabbed my mom's hat, and my sister just like went into hysterics. She does not like stuff. She doesn't trust the people inside the costume. She's gotten better about it as she got older, but I think they still kind of freak her out. But anyway, this vlog is silly. Just trying to think of what else. This is just a nice little rambly vlog. There's something else I was thinking about talking to you guys today, and I can't remember now what it was. It was something along the same lines of dressed up characters. I know one thing I was thinking about this morning, besides, well, I'll get to that in a minute. I wish Disney would go back to their old style of cartoons and not do everything digitally animated. I like Pixar, don't get me wrong, and I like all those movies, but sometimes I miss just like the classic style of cartoons. We watched The Rescuers Down Under the other day, and it really made me miss their old style of cartoons. I don't know why they don't, I guess the last one they did was The Princess and the Frog, and I really liked that movie. And I don't know why Disney seems to be like steering away from that. And then I saw a preview or Rochelle was telling me about a preview in like an article or something. I don't remember exactly the context. Rochelle was telling me at dinner the other day about Pixar and Disney are making a movie about, it's like from, I don't know how to explain this without really confusing you, But the way that they described it in the article made it sound like it's going to be about schizophrenia. It's like inside the girl's mind, and like multiple personalities or something. But I was just like, go back and make cartoons, Disney. There's plenty more fairy tales that you haven't done and things that you haven't covered. So I love you. Go back to that old style of cartooning. And the other one, oh, I know what else I was going to talk to you about. Is anyone else having like a really bad hair winter? For some reason, I've got this like jacked up curl underneath. And then I recently cut it, not necessarily because I wanted to, but I had to cut the dead ends off because I hadn't had it cut in a year. And I really want to grow it out, and I feel like it's not going to grow much longer than this. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I might just start rocking a Snooki poof because at least that looks like a hairstyle. Anyway, this vlog was silly and didn't make a lot of sense. And just let me know your thoughts. What are you thinking about in the comments below? I'm kind of already thinking about spring because I always get kind of bummed out when Christmas is over and then you just have January and February. And it's boring and lame. So I've already been looking at like spring nail polish and stuff, even though it's not going to be warm enough till like March. But anywho, I will talk to you guys later and hope you're having a good Christmas weekend and be safe if you're traveling and everything. And just let me know what you're thinking about in the comments below. I'd be curious to know if I'm the only one having all these crazy thoughts this weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.